Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, and today, on this very Saturday, assuming that's when you're watching this, the Golden Gauntlet Tournament is happening. And we're going to do a special video for Marvel Snap's first ever officially supported tournament open to the public. If you'd like to watch it, the tournament will go live at 12 p.m. Eastern and should be going to about 10 p.m. Eastern on this date. You can watch it on twitch.tv/MarvelSnap or youtube.com/@MarvelSnap. It will be cast on those channels by Super Tech God, It's Guess Gaming, and KM Best, three friends of the show. If you'd like to watch me, I'll be streaming at twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. The reason I'm only streaming on Twitch and not YouTube is I have to be in emote mode during my actual games, and I'd much rather, I don't actually know how to do emote mode only on YouTube. So we're going to do that on the Twitch side of things, if you're interested. What are your favorite streamers playing is the question we're going to attempt to answer in this video. We're just going to go over 20 decks. That's right, 20 decks. We're not going to do full breakdowns. That's ridiculous. But 20 decks from your very favorite streamers, some of the biggest streamers playing interesting decks. A lot of your favorite streamers. If you don't see one of your favorite streamers here that is competing in the tournament, odds are they're playing Thanos or Surfer. Cool. If they're just playing basic Thanos or Surfer, I tried not to include it. But the first person we're going to talk about today is Binks, the great Binks. Binks, by the way, is playing the exact same deck as Dara. You can find Binks on Twitter at Binks Plays and Dara at DaraJN. They are both playing Destroy Thanos. This is the version we featured 2 days ago from Toxic Soul King. Binks has a completely absurd 70% win rate with this list. It's one of the best lists in Marvel Snap. Ridiculously powerful and ridiculously consistent. What it fundamentally wants to do is use Surge and Firehair. Surge to get out a bunch of stones on the cheap, Firehair to get double draw from the stones and use that to draw your whole deck. At that point, the destroy package should get you a free death, a free Mockingbird. The most played card in the tournament is Mobius and Mobius. We have that information right now, and this deck is really well placed to answer the Mobius and Mobius because of Lady Deathstrike. Meanwhile, Wiccan gives you a lot of ramp, as does Luna and Surge, so you should have enough energy to do all the things you want to in this deck, while even having a little bit of control from that aforementioned Lady Deathstrike and Red Guardian. This deck is an absolute beauty. If I was willing to play Thanos, this is what I would have what I would have taken. If you are curious what I'm playing, stay tuned till the end of the video. Next up, we've got Lambie. The great Lambie series on Twitch is one of the best Marvel Snap players ever. He moved on to Parallel, but now that Marvel Snap has competitive play, he has returned. What he did is something different. He said, forget Mobius, forget Cosmo. Everyone else is going to be running them, so I don't need to. So instead of those cards, he's running Galacta as this big extra power spike, and then he went to Speed and Copycat, saying, okay, if you're running the card, then I'm running the card through Copycat. It's a really cool way to take the Strange Supreme version of Thanos. He kept telling everyone he was running Legion, but at the end he ended up cutting Legion. He's got some very specific plays to this that he's very excited to show off to everybody during the course of the stream. I had a lovely conversation with Lambie about this deck, and he's really, really excited to play it and do some cool things with it. The Zabu, I think, is absolutely really cool here. Zabu and Surge, because if you're running 4/4 drops, getting any of those out on turn 3 is such a potential and powerful snap condition that your opponent is going to have a hard time keeping up and choosing to stay, especially to a player of Lambie's caliber. Then we have TLSG, the great TLSG, who you can find on YouTube at that name. TLSG is one of the best Marvel Snap players and one of the best Marvel Snap YouTubers in the world. TLSG is playing Clog. It's his favorite thing to play. He's got his fairly standard Clog list. He has added Strange Supreme to it, Strange Supreme being a really good counter to a lot of the meta, while also being something that can just eat your debris, take care of your demons, eat your Kate Bishop cards, and eat any incidental cards that happen on your side of the board for a lot of power without disrupting your Clog of the opponent. In addition to your Clog of the opponent, we also have the extra tech of Shadow King and, of course, obviously Cannonball as ways to win lanes late in the game. Clog is not as good as on ladder as it is in Conquest. On ladder, opponents often just run for one or two, but in Conquest, in a tournament, the opponent will be stuck playing game after game, getting their board clogged without any real outs. From here, we go to OrdinaryHarry, one of the biggest European streamers. OrdinaryHarry streams on Twitch almost every morning, at least in American time, almost every daytime, and he streams for a long time with a ton of viewers. He's playing a very interesting and strange Arishem Thanos build. I'm not actually even sure what to make of this entirely. We've got Nebula. I don't actually know why, I'm not going to lie. We've got Shadow King, obviously makes sense. Cassandra Nova, really good against all the Thanos. Morph, because I don't know. Luke Cage to copy opposing Afflict, but so does Super Skrull. Those are really Super Skrull is going to end up copying an awful lot of Mobiuses. We've got Luffy as just a powerful four, but Luffy and Shadow King have a little bit of counter synergy, as do Shadow King, Cassandra Nova. Nick Fury gives you access to a bunch of sixes that you can get out for free for Isan, and Vision is movable power. This is a very strange deck, but very interesting. That's why we featured it. This is not the only Arishem Thanos deck we're going to see in this video, but it is probably the most competitive version because we have a real weird one coming later. From here, we've got PonyPun. PonyPun is playing the same deck that Heart of the Cards Snap is playing. This is the Heart of the Cards Snap version of Silver Surfer. We've covered this here on the channel like 5 or 6 different times because Heart of the Cards has been in the top 10 of this list for several seasons now. Pawnee is playing it. Heart of the Cards is in the tournament and playing it as well. It is a fairly simple deck where Fenris is fed by Killmonger, Negasonic, and Gladiator. Having those extra cards is very powerful for Captain Carter. U.S. Agent takes down big opposing stuff while also having some synergy with Gladiator. Almost everything has a little bit of extra synergy here. Galacta and Surfer's extra synergy being Brood and Carter. Sam Wilson, besides being big, helps you with your Carter. Everything here really does work together well. This is arguably the best non-Thanos deck in Snap. It's great to see Pawnee playing it, and I wish our friend Heart of the Cards well with it as well. Please, if you're enjoying this video, if you like the looks at decks in Marvel Snap that no one else gives you before other people give them to you, please hit that sub, like, and comment. Monday's video will be a breakdown of the top 8 decks with full play-by-play lines, and I will do my best to get some commentary from the winner of the tournament as well. Next up, we've got Butt Squad. Butt is not so much a streamer. He streams once in a blue moon, but he is also just one of the best tournament Marvel Snap players. The first section was the big streamers. Dexter is in the tournament, but he hasn't submitted a deck yet. But Butt Squad is this section is like the real like competitive tournament Marvel Snap players. Although again, there's it's loosely organized. Butt is a 2-time Snap Judgments League winner. He's one of the best players in the world. He's been in the top 5 in the Infinite Leaderboard multiple times. He is a very well-known player in competitive Marvel Snap circles. He created this very strange deck that he's sort of completely crushing with. Bringing a Pixie deck into this Mobius layer is wild, but he also has a little bit of extra shenanigans here. Uncle Ben, Copycat, Legion, and Emperor Hulkling all add some variance to the deck, which can cause the opponent problems. An opposing Mobius can just be answered by an Enchantress, and thus this deck puts out a lot of power. He claims that he's been absolutely crushing everyone with this list, and he's Butt, so that's not genuinely surprising. It would not remotely surprise me to see this appear in the top 8, because Butt is just that good. I think Butt and Lambie are probably the 2 best conquest/tournament players that we're seeing today. Although much props to No Luck's Given and to some other players we're going to see there as well. My pick, though, if I was forced gun to the head, is Butt and Lambie. Next up, we've got Move Bounce. Several players are playing Move Bounce. As I've got a little sore throat, please excuse me. This is what Sizer is playing, surprising no one. This is Sizer's deck. He made it the multiple time, 7-ish time #1 player is Sizer. He's playing this list. So are a few other players. Notably, we've got Interrobang, one of the head of the Twitter Marvel Snap community, playing this list, as well as our friend Splat, who plays very weird decks, but is going to compete to win this one, playing one of the best decks. This deck puts up more points than anything. Its job is to scale Human Torch, Vulture, or Dagger up huge, copy them with Frigga, bounce them to protect them, and then play them as big, unbeatable things at the end. It is one of, if not the best deck for this type of gameplay, if you are good with it. However, this is a deck that if you make the slightest mistake on turn 2, you will pay in terms of big cubes on turn 6. So let's see how well experts and non-experts of this deck can play it. Next up, we've got Derek, the multiple-time #1, 2-time #1, and a million-time #2 player, is going old school. This is the old Move Bounce, basically with Toxin, right? We've seen this version of Move Bounce 1,000 times over the years. This won my major tournament. Snap Judgments hosted a tournament called the Snap Grand Prix with several hundred players and hundreds of dollars of prizes, and it was won by basically this deck without Toxin and Rocket Raccoon. It's great to see Mysterio, Iron Man, Hitmonkey back. And like that's what this list is. It's Mysterio, Iron Man, Hitmonkey, pump up your bishop, win the game. Derek is on it. Derek is an absolute beast. I'm not sure how good Derek is at Conquest. I've never seen him in a tournament, and I've never seen him in Conquest. But I know that he is an absolute monster, like genuinely a monster ladder player, and anything that Derek plays has to be considered a threat. Next up, we've got W, one of the most important deck builders in the game. He was also in the finals of the very first SnapCon and has competed very effectively in multiple tournaments throughout the history of the game. If he is free, he often is very busy and ends up playing while on the move. If he's free and playing at home, then he's absolutely a threat to take anything down. He's playing a Quicksilver Wiccan list. This version is attempting to do things no other versions are. We've got the Fenris Wolf stuff, right? Running Fenris with Killmonger and Gladiator. You're going to see a lot of players here running Shadow King to answer Strange Supreme and Surfer. And then we're going to see a lot of people running cards like Valentina, which are intended to increase the variance of the game, give you snap conditions that your opponent can't answer, as they're not going to know what you have. Ms. Marvel is just a 4/15, a lot of power for your opponent to deal with, and everything else here just fits really well together. From there, we go to Quinny Equinox. Many of you will not remember Quinny, but Quinny was one of my first favorite deck builders in this game when she played way back when. After Snap Packs, she has returned and has been playing very cool things. I found this deck 2 or 3 days ago on Untapped. I didn't realize it was Quinny's, and I absolutely crushed with it. Absolutely crushed with it. This is a straight up move deck. There's no bounce here. It's just saying, okay, figure out where my stuff's going to be. If you can figure out where the stuff's going to be, you can compete with it. If you can't, you're in trouble. Red Guardian isn't a lot of decks, but you'll always know when Red Guardian is in the deck, and thus you can play with and around it. You've got Shang and Enchantress to steal extra cubes. This one is very cool. Quinny is a brilliant Marvel Snap player who became notable for being in the very early Snap tournaments, one of the more competitive players before the Infinite Leaderboard even existed. I'm very excited for her to be back on this tournament. We are giving away an Esme Cuckoo this week. We will announce our Esme Cuckoo winner in, I believe, either Sunday afternoon or Monday as a YouTube announcement. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment. We'll be giving away another next week. We'll tell you what comment to leave on each video. Each comment is an entry to win Esme Cuckoo. Next up, we've got Hannah's Cat Cafe, another wonderful streamer. She's a European, phenomenal player, is playing a sort of Zabu mid-range list. This is using Zabu and Surge as a way to get your fours down. In this case, Shang, Galactic Enchantress. This feels almost like a surfer list, but it's using Shang and Enchantress instead to win the game instead of Surfer. I think this is a really cool idea. I have no idea how this works. Is this better than Surfer? My guess would be no, but I think this tournament is going to do a good job at telling us whether we're over-indexing on Surfer versus just taking care of tech and using counters to opponents. Next up, we have KK Sparkles, another one of the most prominent Marvel Snap streamers. This is the only base Thanos we're going to cover outside of, I guess, Lambie's, because I just wanted to show that, like, hey, you can do a lot of things with this deck. KK is cutting Shang-Chi, right? But running Red Hulk instead of Mockingbird and just saying, I'm really going to go to town. I had a good conversation with KK about this deck. She's excited to give it a try. I think this one has some real legs. I like the idea of armor as a way to protect either, in addition to Cosmo, to protect your Strange Supreme, to protect your Red Hulk, Thanos, whatever. And then you're running Enchantress, not Shang, so the armor and Cosmo don't counter you yourself. I think this is a really, really cool idea. I'm not sure how much I love not running Mockingbird, but that with Strange Supreme in the deck, it at least makes sense. And Iron Patriot, again, that card that gives you that Iron Patriot Copycat, excuse me, 2 cards that give you that extra bit of upside in this deck. From here, we go to Husky Puppies 35, who's playing Move. Everyone kept telling me Husky was playing Bounce Move, but this don't look like Bounce Move to me. I don't know what the hell this looks like. This is Move. You can't counter me. That's like, I don't understand why this doesn't run Cloak, but I don't understand this deck yet. Husky is a brilliant player, someone I expect to be in or around the cut. He's a wonderful, one of the bigger Marvel Snap streamers, and he's one of the better Marvel Snap players. I fully expect this to do well. It's got a lot of counterplay to it for a move deck, much like Quinny. In this case, Echo and Shadow King, while also having Nocturne and Mobius, like and Luke, but also just having the ability to get Dagger, Torch, and Vulture big, right? So we've got counterplay plus a ton of stats, which seems like a very strong place to be. I love seeing Fan Fei in so many of these decks after so many people poo-pooed that card. It was always good. It's just not easy to use. If you take the time to learn Fan Fei, she's extremely powerful. Next up, from the old Husky Puppies group is Helen Joyer. Helen Joyer has returned. Helen Joyer always plays some weird Tribunal stuff. Helen Joyer is the originator of the ongoing Tribunal that was meta for a while and the negative Tribunal that was meta for a while. He's back to the game. Again, Snap Packs did a wonderful job, as did tournaments, of bringing back a lot of old Marvel Snap players. And in this case, we have a Sarah version that runs Gore of the Tribunal deck. Gore just honestly being a complete, like, if With this deck, there's a reasonable chance, not an amazing chance, that you can get like Gore and Mystique against Thanos, which is just game winning in and of itself. But like you can also end up with Iron Man and Onslaught as a lane winner. There's a lot of extraordinarily powerful things you can do. A lot of them thanks to Magic and Luna Snow and Ravonna. Um, Magic is a little dangerous with all the reality stone around, but whatever. Luna is relatively safe. Ravonna is dangerous with all the Mobius, but you have so many different options, so many different ways to get the extra energy, to get the extra things you want to play, that finding your combo should be good. Helen Joyer is a beast. Um, the type of player who just wins games that like no one else could, and I'm very, very happy that the great Helen Joyer has returned. Another returner, we've got KX4N, who played far longer than Helen Joyer, but seems to have quit around the same time Woody did. Husky, Woody, Helen Joyer, KX4N were all started around the same time and all became a competitive force in the meta around the same time. KX4N is playing a version of the discard deck, the Bullseye discard deck. The major change here for this deck is that KX is running Sam Wilson over Meek. Quite why, I'm not 1,000% sure, but my guess would be that Sam Wilson does a really good job of protecting from Red Guardian, protecting your Bullseye, protecting your key cards from Red Guardian, while also just being decent power himself. He also does a little bit of what Meek does in terms of getting into lanes that otherwise might be difficult to get into. This deck has two main avenues of attack. A few other players are playing this one as well, by the way. This is not an uncommon deck, but it's, I believe Schnirp is playing this as well. You can build up a Mobius and a Collector by getting them both out and basically using Modok and Bullseye to discard Swarm a million times, making both of those cards huge. The other play is to get two Dockins, Dock and Frigga, then you Grandmaster one of the Dockins, and then when you either Modok or Bullseye that away, you end up with two 32 power Dockins. Either one of those is great. The Swarm part is dangerous into all the Mobius in the meta, but the Dock and play pattern, well, it's also dangerous into all the Cosmo. Let's see if this one can work. I think that this was one of the best decks, but the prevalence of Thanos might really hit this. Hey, come check out twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. Just as a reminder, I will be streaming this tournament today at noon. Next up, we've got Roram. Roram won 90% of his games in 90% of his games in 30 with this deck. This is one we're going to cover in a full video very, very soon. So make sure you stay tuned. It's probably going to be Tuesday because Sunday's video is this other insane Thanos deck because Thanos is everywhere. And then Monday, we're going to cover the whole major tournament. It is then time for the Tuesday where we have Roram Plays list. Roram's deck is wild. Roram's deck is absolutely crazy strong. I played a version of this on a little bit. It was a Loki deck, and with Gamer, he worked on it, got it to this. This list is wild. Figuring out what Agamotto is going to do to you and when is amazingly difficult, right? Surge's discounts are great. Which arrows you have, whether you're going to get Cosmo, Negasonic, or Red Guardian, what Copycat got, what Gwenpool hit. This list is insanely difficult to predict the power output of, and that difficulty gives you a lot of snap equity and a lot of ways to win big games of Marvel Snap. This one's a beaut. This one's genuinely a beaut. I fully expect Roram to either make the cut or be very close to doing so. One of the best players of Marvel Snap and one of the leaders of Marvel Snap's main meta group right now. That Heart of the Cards Cougar list is Roram's group. From there, we've got Ika's tournament deck. Ika's taking Pixie and saying once more, much like the Thanos Death Destroy deck that runs Lady Deathstrike, I'm going to run Lady Deathstrike to counter opposing Mobius. Here we have Pixie and Mobius, which is an incredibly powerful combo that can do things no one can predict. Ika's brilliant, right? So while I'm not a big Pixie fan, I assume if Iga's playing Pixie that he's got this planned out. Again, our lack of predictability comes up. Pixie saying things have whatever cost, you can't tell. Infinity Ultron saying you don't know what stones I got. Nico, you don't know what spell I've got. This Iron Patriot, obviously, all of these cards combining with extra ramp and power cards is just a really, really hard thing to play around and expect Ika to do very, very well as well. Zombies go nom nom, be memeing. Zombies has taken all the big bads, not just Thanos, because it's the Golden Gauntlet, but also Arishem, but also Galactus, but also Agamotto, but also Kang, but also High Evolutionary with no High Evolutionary cards. This is a Maniacs deck. I love Zombie for this. I think this is hilarious and amazing. I don't expect this to do especially well, but honestly, these cards are just strong, and it wouldn't shock me if it did way better than you'd think. I think the only card that you really don't want in this list is High Evolutionary. Um, any mid-game snaps from an opponent who has Kang are extra annoying in Conquest, are extra annoying in Arishem, This one's just kind of annoying, right? I think this list might be better than it looks, and Zombies is a great player, so it would not shock me if he absolutely rocked. Next up, we've got the Pirate King. We're almost done here. The Pirate King Tucker is taking the deck he hit Infinite with. It is his Dark Hawk list. We covered this in a video weeks ago at this point. He changed one card. He put Shadow King in for Surge as a way to say, I'm going to counter some of those Surfers and some of those Strange Supremes. This list is a little bit vulnerable to, well, it's a lot of it vulnerable to getting hit by a Mobius, and Mobius is again the most popular card, but it is very strong into Thanos thanks to Cassandra Nova and Darkhawk and Gore. If you can get any of those cards out early, you're going to have a really, really great time of hitting Esme Cuckoo things, getting that Darkhawk or Iron Man out, and then hitting with Mystique. These are just powerful things to do that the opponent will generally have trouble dealing with. I love the Pirate King's deck. It's a really, really great idea. Next up, we've got what I'm taking. Finally, this is the last one. This is the last deck of the video, friends. This is 20 decks. I covered this deck 2 or 3 days ago. I don't think this deck is great, but I want to cover this tournament honestly more as a reporter than as a competitor. I'm going to compete. I'm going to play my best, I promise. But what I would like to do is play a fun competitive deck so I can be entertained. And then when I'm not, I want to be able to check out what other people are playing, what decisions they're making, so that I can cover this deck as well, tournament as well as possible. And that is my goal. But this deck is really fun, and it's really difficult to play around in Conquest. It's got a lot of play patterns. You don't actually have to play Zola, right? You don't actually have to play Elixir. You can do whatever you want. Ravona should 100% be Surge in this list. That's genuinely a mistake. I had plans and had to paste the deck as quickly as possible, and I didn't have time to really think through what that last card should be. It should be Surge, but it doesn't really matter, or it should be Grandmaster, which it was originally, but it doesn't really matter. Your goal here, the ideal play, is to get either Ajax or Laufey hit by Zola and let those win a lane. If you can get that Laufey hit by Symbiote or Wong, you're really, really going super tall. The Luke Cage is really good. The Magic is really good. And we only have Ravona as cost reduction, so all the Mobius everywhere doesn't stop us, although the Cosmo is wildly annoying. This deck puts up 10 billion points, and when you know whether your opponent has Shang or Enchantress or anything else, it gets even better. So I do think that this can compete. I don't expect to do well. I expect to have a winning record and potentially challenge for the cut. But I don't assume that that's going to happen. That's not why I'm playing this. I'm playing this because I know that it's going to be a really, really fun show for everyone watching that's going to perform and everyone's going to enjoy themselves. So if you'd like to come by, once more, twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. That's today's video. That's 20 of the coolest and most interesting decks from the best creators in this tournament. Certain support on our Patreon come with honor thanks. I'm going to go relatively quickly because I have a major tournament to get ready for. Thank you to Bricks2Click, Abigail Giesland, Mandatory Burnout, Irregardless, LAB, Inc., I Am Frostman, Hotan Everette, Thinking Poker, Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Renwrench, Caretix League, Quarrier, Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Perforos, The Goat Seeker Code, Hollowed, Only Fox, Synth, Fat Nick, Absolute Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bizza, Black Jeepers 23, Extras V and Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Mr. Slushdeath, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kevsey Hoda, Ludacris, Glam, Colonel Foreman, Rob Silverman, M. Holland, David G. Wingfield, Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan, H. Martin, Jason B., Mr. Cricksterry, Matt V., Corey, Corwin, John Q, and Jimmy McHugh, Yes Out, Ace Age, One Big Man, Milkman for Reals, Cactus Jack, Reaper, BG, Quid Pro Joe, Snap Decision Joe, Dick Carlo, Models Monty Cream, who's helping to run this tournament, Boombot, Green Goblin, Unibot, Flan 56, The Fuzzy Doll, Spectrumix, Hoot, Ocularis, Matt H, GG Mike Adjunks, No Frickin' Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, Toxic Soul King, Zodrix, the King of Canada, Deadman Falcon, Fowler Newman, Jonesy, Two Ties, The Great Lauren Evans, the Pirate King Tucker, and of course Gunny T, who organized the damn tournament. Check it out. Don't miss it. Support competitive Marvel Snap if we want it to continue. And if once you see it, you will know why it should continue. Competitive Marvel Snap is the best, y'all, and I hope to see you there, either on my channel or the official Marvel Snap channel, supporting it, at least for a little while today. Peace.